Hello, hello, hello. Antphrodite here, your pop culture psychic, back to you with another astrology video, back by popular demand. I have just watched Squid Game and I loved it. So I thought, what better way to celebrate that than to see what character or what astrology sign I believe each character is. So these are the Squid Game characters' astrological signs by me, yours truly. So I'm going to get it started and jump right in. So let's change the scene here. So I have each character that I believe was significant to the story. I have their numbers attached because sometimes people only remember their numbers, me included. And I'm going to kind of go over their characteristics and what sign that I believe that they connect to the most. This would be their sun sign. I will tell you that I am not a super big fan of the main character. But regardless, he does play an important part, an important role. And I'm kind of excited. I want to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know if you agree, what character or what sign you think each character is. I'm really excited. If you want more stuff like this, let me know what shows you want me to watch and do this on. So, yeah, I'm really excited. So let's kind of jump right in. To start, I will say what I love about Squid Game is that it really is like a great commentary on capitalism and the money difference between a lot of people. So I went into a whole spiel about this, and I honestly will probably, as I continue this, but I was fascinated by certain characters because of that. So let's start off with Gi-Hun. I believe that's how you say his name, number 456. So he is kind of a little bit of a bumbling idiot in the beginning. I mean, his character is pretty much he's kind of a deadbeat dad, no shade, but it's just the truth. That's kind of why I couldn't really get into his character. And he bets his mother's earnings on everything and bamboozles her. And for me, I found him to be a wimp. He was extremely passive. So I think that rules out any sort of fire sign, just because I found his characteristics here. We'll put them wimp and passive well, I guess passive may not be the best, but I would say wimp. He's kind of scared. So he's often like a wimp. He's kind of scared. He had a lot of plot armor, which kind of drove me a little bit wild. I think the show did a great job at building suspense. So for me, I think like sometimes a little bit heavy-handed, because it was basically like, how is the main character going to get plot armor to save him? And it kind of drove me crazy. And by the way, this is going to be filled with spoilers, obviously. So don't watch this if you haven't seen it yet. But for me personally, I just felt like he just kind of stumbled through life. And so I think for me, that's very important characteristics of him, stumbling through life. Yeah, he was an addict. Definitely. He's a gambling addict. So I think that's important too. I think that's an important characteristic. He's definitely not family oriented. I know that family ended up being a motivator for him somewhat, but I'm not comfortable putting family oriented because he consistently chose other things over his family time and time again. So for me, not super comfortable saying that he's family oriented, although I do think he's family conscious. But I think that he's conscious of it because he's obsessed with morality, which I think is another characteristics of him. He's obsessed with good and evil, obsessed with morality. He wants to do the right thing, and he wants other people to see him doing the right thing. But oftentimes, is that really what he does? And is that really what he actually wants? So, I felt like a lot of his decisions were based upon morality. So once again, we're ruling out a lot of the fire signs. Now, I am going to go ahead and rule out the air signs because he is unfortunately kind of like a bumbling idiot stereotype. He's not exactly the smartest person in the room. He's definitely struggled, I think, with his education, I'm pretty sure, at some point. It comes from a poor background. So for me, I'm not comfortable putting him in the category of any of the air signs. However, that leaves us with the water signs. And it also leaves us with the earth signs. Now, there is a good, honestly, pretty strong argument that he could be a Taurus because he is obsessed with money, obviously, as most of these people are. He's also very much, we see him eating like the entire time, like literally the entire time. And he's extremely loyal. However, his indecision and his indecisiveness is really what puts me over the edge and makes me say, no, indecisive. I'm probably spelling this wrong. Indecisive. Okay. It kind of puts me over the edge of him not being a Taurus, because Tauruses make a decision and stick to it, but he's extremely all over the place and has a hard time making decisions. In fact, I'd say that he's wishy-washy. It's hard for me to think of a Capricorn being wishy-washy. Yes, they tend to do the right thing, but they also have they are obsessed with morality, but they're usually doing the right thing and being productive. I just feel like he's not exactly productive. Because he stumbles through life, I have a hard time giving him the Capricorn title. And then Virgo, I mean, he's not put together at all. I mean, he's not meticulous. He's not a perfectionist. He's messy. So it can't be Virgo. So it leads us to the water signs. Cancer, perhaps, but I don't really think, yes, he whined a lot, but he didn't particularly cry too much. And I also don't think he's family oriented. I think he's family, conscious. So I have a hard time with that. He is somewhat of a leader, but I just feel like he's not strong enough emotionally for me to be comfortable giving him that Cancer. And I don't feel like he was soft enough as a character. Now, Scorpio, I don't think that he was able to do things that were evil in order to advance and feel okay with it. So I feel like when it comes to a Scorpio, if a Scorpio needs to make a decision and it's going to sting someone, they're going to make sure it hurts. And I just don't see that in him. That doesn't mean all Scorpios are bad. That just means in a power position, a Scorpio is not afraid to sting people. He's not that. That leaves us through process of elimination with him being a Pisces. That is my personal opinion, that he is a Pisces. It's the reason why he's wishy-washy. It's the reason why he doesn't want to be a leader and he's all over the place. He stumbles through life. They are fantasy oriented, which is why he's obsessed with gambling, because it literally gives him the fantasy of, whatever he is or whatever he's doing. And I also think it's the reason why he's distracted easily and constantly doing other things. I think that's also why he liked the game, because it was this fantasy world and an escape for him. I think he's prone towards escapism. I think that's why he's addicted to gambling. So I am comfortable and confident, and will argue this with y'all in saying that I believe he is a loud and proud Pisces. So let me write this down. I believe him to be a Pisces. I should probably make that bigger, but it's fine. So Sung-woo. It's a tie. Honestly, my favorite characters are Sung-woo and Sae-byeok. I believe I said that right. 067. The thing about Sung-woo is I feel like he's an extremely complex character. I mean, he has so much depth to him. I think anybody who villainizes Sung-woo was not paying attention, didn't get the undertones of the show. What I like about him is he's a great foil to the main character. The main character here grew up in the same area of him. They're both poor, in a humble beginnings. Sung-woo embraced capitalism and ended up being, successful through sort of taking advantage of other people. And Gi-yeong was vehemently against it. He went against the riots in his workplace and he tried to fight for the people, and he paid the price for that. So they both are on opposite ends of the spectrum of capitalism. One is against it, the other embraced it, and their lives are parallel because of that. So very much enjoy this character. They're also both similar in that they're willing to use their mom to do whatever it takes to get ahead. And while they both are family conscious, I do not believe either one of them are family oriented. Now, the one thing I will say is Sung-woo does not show his emotions. It's a lot of depth in the core of his being. There's a ton of depth, and especially the actor played this part amazingly. When he makes his decisions, he's holding back his emotions. He's not showing them. So therefore, we're ruling out right off the bat water signs, because there's a lack of emotion, not a lack of empathy and not a lack of showing emotion, but a lack of allowing himself to show that emotion, if that makes sense. He doesn't want people to see him sweat. Now, we also have to keep in mind that this man has a very analytical mind, extremely analytical. So while he is a leader, and I will say that he's a leader, here, let's get the red back. So he's definitely a leader, that's for sure, and he's definitely successful. He's also extremely smart, very smart actually, and smart and intelligent. So great argument for him to be a Leo. Right? He's very smart. He's a leader. Everyone is drawn to him. However, the one thing he lacks is loyalty. He's going to put himself above every single other person. And mind you, some Leos that are low functioning are definitely like that. However, and he does have pride. There is an argument for him to saying that he has pride. But is it pride and ego, or is he just obsessed with image? So that's kind of where you get into image obsessed. He cares what other people think, and that's his pride. But what is he defined by? For him, his image obsession and his pride is defined by what he's accomplished and what he's able to do, not who he is. So that's why I have a hard time putting him in a Leo energy, because when I think of that Leo energy, I think of someone that's like, I'm the best, look at me, I'm so cool, look what I can do. Whereas he was like, this is how I'm analyzing the scenario and this is when I'm gonna do it. So for me, he's not the person in front that's like showing all the energy, he's the person in the back. So I have a hard time giving him that fire energy, even though towards the end of the show, he does do aggressive acts. They are only when he's pushed to his absolute limit. His first way of doing things is never anything fiery or feisty at all. It literally never is. It's always an analytical mind. So I can't, in good faith, give him any other sign other than air. There's no way. Like, you could make an argument for Leo, and I could maybe see him being a Leo, but the problem I have is at the end of the day, he has a lack of loyalty, and he is not necessarily the most aggressive person, nor is he going to push other people out of the way to get the spotlight. He's more of a calculated person who makes sure that he weasels his way to the top. I also love that this character is one that I feel like is incredibly relatable, because he put yourself in the scenario. Your lack of food, a lack of clothing, you're not sleeping, there's constant chaos, you're emotionally numb because people are dropping dead left and right, you're watching people get murdered, you're honestly contributing to them, you're basically killing people by surviving, if not directly killing them in some of the challenges. And you have realized that at the end of the day, the decisions that you make are you or them. And so he decides to make the best decision for himself. That is something that I feel like is very relatable. Some people are going to go into a situation like this and deal with trauma in Gi-Hun's way, where they're trying to figure it out, they're stumbling through it, they don't want to make decisions, they're indecisive, and then they end up where they need to be. But other people are going to be like Sung-woo, where they're like, I need to make sure that I have the best outcome possible because I don't want to die. And only one person, well, I guess more people can win, but probably one person is going to win and everyone else in here is going to die, and it's not going to be me. And I'm going to need to make hard decisions, and I need to swallow my pride and just let my emotions fly. This is exactly why I do not believe that he is a Libra, because I believe that Libras are people pleasers and they want to be well liked. He has zero desire to be well liked. So for me, I put that under sufficient. I guess that's the best way to put that. He's a little bit self-serving, but I see him more as individualistic and self-sufficient. There's no way he can be a Pisces. Yes, he partners up with people, but he partners up with Ollie because Ollie is the best person for him at that time. So there's no like, let's me and you do this, let's take it over. It's how can I get to the position I need to be in? So that leaves us with Aquarius and Gemini. Now, Aquarius is technically the sign of friendship. They are very intelligent, but they're quite literally quirky. They're usually more into themselves than analyzing other people. They're also people who genuinely have a lot of hobbies. And then you have Gemini, who's a very good talker, very good communicator, quite sly with the tongue, great at manipulating people, very intelligent, it likes to be on the side, and is calculated. I have a hard time choosing Aquarius over Gemini. It's extremely impossible for me to choose Aquarius over Gemini because, like I said before, Gemini has the gift of gab. They literally rule communication. They are talkers. And if we remember the one emotional scene between him and Ollie, he literally bamboozled Ollie and tricked him because he was a quick thinker. He thinks on his toes. That's Gemini. Gemini is very quick-witted, very, very quick-witted, and quick with their tongue, and speaks quickly and convincingly. And he convinced the fuck out of him. When he did that, that's when I knew that Sung-woo was our Gemini, 100%. I already related to this character as a Gemini myself, and I literally, when I first watched this, the fact that he was pushed to be a leader the entire time and he rose to the occasion was giving me Aries moon. Again, he reminds me a lot of myself. So seeing him in this position, being like, I feel like you're an Aries moon. The way you're making those decisions and rising to be a leader, it reminds me of a politician knowing the decisions they make are going to hurt someone else, but they have to make a decision because someone's going to get hurt and you just need to make the decision. You need to make it right now. Aries moons are like first responders. So when I started to see him and I saw the episode 6, the most emotional episode with Ollie, I 100% was like, this is a Gemini. Now, obviously he's a low functioning Gemini, right? He's flighty, he doesn't have any loyalty, and he's, sly with his communication, but he's also doing what he needs to do to win, and they chose to be here. So everyone knew what the stakes were. So for me, I have to give it to the Gemini. Sorry to my fellow Geminis, but this is our low functioning Gemini 100%. Now, in the beginning, he was high functioning, but I mean, at the end of the day, he had to do what he had to do to survive, and the decisions he made, even though he felt bad about them and there was remorse, because you could see it through the actor's portrayal, there's nothing he can do. Like, it's him or you, and he's going to choose himself. So I believe him to be a Gemini, low functioning for the most part, but he is our Gemini. Now, you can make an argument for him being a Leo. I will allow you to make that argument, but I'm not particularly fond of that. Like I said before, it's the lack of loyalty for me that really sells, and also the way he was able to communicate and manipulate. So 067, another fan favorite, one of my favorite characters as well. Sae-byeok, I believe I said that right. So she is very cold. I mean, that's literally her entire character. I will say this character, in my opinion, I think she was written to be well liked. She's pretty cold / quiet. She doesn't really have many faults. I mean, yeah, she's a pickpocketer, but they're all kind of like that. I feel like this character was quite literally written to be worshipped. There's not really a negative to her. In fact, I think pretty much everyone can see themselves in her. She is extremely family-oriented. In fact, I would argue that she's probably the most family-oriented character in this entire show, because she's the only one that cares about her family, is fighting for her family, and actually follows through with that. So I find her to be extremely family-oriented. I also find her to be very, very much a leader in her own right. So, obviously, sometimes we'll look for cardinal signs with that, but it doesn't matter. But I feel like most of these characters are pretty much leaders, so it goes without saying. Now, I will also tell you that for her, it seems like she has a habit of isolating herself. So she isolates herself the entire time. And she is not afraid to be aggressive. So we're looking at a lot of different options. So first of all, family oriented, definitely looking towards something more of like a water sign, but is she super emotional? It depends. Then we're looking at air signs. I don't believe that she's an air sign, because I don't believe she communicates enough, and I don't believe she talks enough. Air is all about communication. It's all about talking. It's all about connecting with people. It's intellect. I think that she's calculated for sure, but I don't think that she's calculated because she's smart. I think she's calculated because she has experience. So we're looking at experience and street smarts versus intellect. So I don't believe that she's going to fall under any of the air signs at all. Now we look at fire. Yeah, she's pretty feisty. She's pretty bold. Her appearance is very regal. So you are looking at Leo-like energy. I feel like a lot of these characters have a little touch of a Leo in them. She's independent. Definitely, could be an Aries. She doesn't mind fighting. We're looking at Leo. She, again, Sagittarius. She's independent. She does whatever she wants. However, my problem here is with Sagittarius. Sagittarius are usually straightforward. I find her to be a little bit more reserved. And I find her to not be afraid to fight, but not really engaged in that. And so that's where I kind of pull back with Sagittarius, because I feel like Sagittarius is more in your face. Even though they're individualistic, they're more in your face and they're blunt. You also have Aries, which I feel like would be pushing people around more and more aggressive. I don't particularly think that she doesn't really give me like, I want to push you around and fight you. She's more like, I'm going to do what I need to do, and if you're in my way, get out of my way. So then we look at the earth signs. She's not really a Virgo because she's not well put together. In fact, I think like most of these characters are not very well put together. They're not really meticulous. They're not really thought out. I think for her, she's a little bit more all over the place, like most of these characters. Then we look at Taurus. She is loyal. She's definitely loyal. But I also look at, again, it's a TV show, so it's hard, but I don't particularly see her as someone that's like obsessed with money, because she's more so obsessed with family. Family is her motivator, not money. I don't see her obsessed with food. I know there's a reason why she didn't eat all that food, but in general, she's not really shown to be gluttonous or interested in that. I know Taurus are more than that, but we have small pickings here in terms of what to look at. You also see Taurus as someone that's very sturdy and stable, and consistent. I don't find her to be that. I find her to be flighty. I find her to be all over the place. I mean, she doesn't really have a routine. She just does whatever she wants. She's go with the flow. So I have a hard time seeing her as a Taurus. However, that kind of leads us to Capricorn. Now, Capricorn, there is an argument for her being a Capricorn. However, she does not have a sense of morality. She quite literally doesn't give a fuck about morality. Like, zero consciousness about morality. So I can't in good faith label someone as a Capricorn if they do not have any sort of obsession with morality. So now that leads us to the water signs. So great argument for her to be a lot of the different signs. For me, if I'm labeling Gi-Hun as a Pisces, I don't believe she's similar and they get along, but I don't believe that she's as wishy-washy and as all over the place as he is. She's the one that pulls him together, which means she has more leadership than he does. So that leads us with either Scorpio or Cancer. So Scorpio is willing to do whatever it takes to get ahead. That makes sense, right? They are not afraid to make hard decisions. They're not afraid to do whatever they want. However, when you hurt someone that a Scorpio loves, they're going to get you. It did not feel like to me that she was vengeful as much as she was spiteful, because she has the opportunity to kill that guy that screwed over her family and she doesn't. And so for me, when I look at that, I feel like that was more spiteful, and that is more of an emotional reaction. And for me, when we go back to how family oriented she is, we start looking at Cancer, because she's cold and quiet, not because she wants to be, but because she was forced to be. She was forced to be cold and quiet because she's a hermit crab in her shell and she doesn't want to let anyone in. She isolates so that she doesn't get disappointed by people. And so I feel like for her, the reason why she's cold and quiet and isolated is because there's a ton of emotional depth. She cares about her family. She wants to protect her little brother. She wants to save her parents. It's a Cancer. It's a low functioning Cancer that's absolutely terrified to let anybody in. That's why I think so many people love her, because she's a hard shell on the outside and soft on the inside. And that is why, in my opinion, she is our Cancer. Again, you can make an argument for a couple other signs, but you're never going to convince me that she's anything other than a Cancer. I've thought long and hard about this. Here, let me redo this completely. And I'm sticking to my guns. Now, next character, Ollie, 199. I know everybody loves this character because everybody wishes that this is who they were. He is quite literally an incredibly sort of kind, he's pretty perfect, right? Like, this character is literally written to be perfect. And so it's a commentary on how immigrant workers are treated, and how the difference in terms of poverty and stuff like that makes. The problem that I have with this character, I love this character, I think he's extremely necessary, is that I see this character a lot different than other people. I see this character as extremely naive and gullible, right? So granted, he has a lack of knowledge from not only being an immigrant and struggling. I believe they talk about him struggling to learn the language at one point, but I'm not sure. But also, he's not paid for 6 months and he can't do anything because he's a legal immigrant and he can't get paid. And so he's very naive and gullible because of his lack of education. He never got a chance in this life. But that doesn't change the fact that in the game, it's kill or be killed. And he is necessarily a weak link. And so for me, I love this character, but I also understand the importance. He was supposed to get you emotional. He was supposed to elicit that emotional reaction to you. Because if you look at someone like Sung-woo, which I know so many people, spoiler alert, so many people hate Sung-woo for what he did to Ollie, but it makes sense to me because Sung-woo wanted to win, and if Sung-woo loses, he dies. And he also knows that Ollie is not making it to the end. So when you look at the characters as complex beings, you start to understand why they made the decisions they made. They're not right decision, but there is no right decision. Every decision is wrong. And so as much as I love Ollie and as much as I connect to Ollie, I think a lot of people, the reason why they're so protective of Ollie is because he's innocent. And I believe that innocence is something that is lost on most of us. Life is hard and life hits us really, really hard, and we all get jaded. Every single one of us right now are jaded as hell. And we wish that we were Ollie. And we remember when we were Ollie. We remember when we were able to be naive and we didn't have our innocence stolen from us. So that's why he's a character that so many people connect to and want to protect, because it's a part of us that we forget that we have and we wish we could get back, is our innocence. And so Sung-woo is a great example of someone that's been jaded by the world, and Ollie is someone that hasn't been jaded yet. And regardless of what he's going through, he hasn't had that same experience. And I think that's what's so great about this character. And he's extremely likable. I mean, period, bitch. This guy is so likable. I also find him to be loyal as hell. I mean, this guy is the most loyal. He's extremely hardworking. I mean, this dude worked for 6 months and got nothing at all. However, we are still looking at someone who is naive and gullible. So right off the bat, he's not an Aries. He's not an aggressive person, okay? He's not a Sagittarius. He doesn't speak like straight to you. He's not straightforward. And he's definitely not a Leo because he doesn't mind. He doesn't want to be the center of attention. If he just wants to live. He is family oriented. I don't have enough space, but I mean, that goes without saying. He is another character, I believe, that's extremely family oriented. In fact, him and Sae-byeok are probably the only people that are super family oriented. What was I saying? Oh yeah, he's not a Leo, not a Sagittarius, not an Aries. Okay, rule that out. Now we look at water signs. He, while extremely emotional, I do not find him to express his emotions very well, if at all. So for me, they're under the surface. They're not really showcasing, so not really feeling strong. I mean, we compare him to the Pisces and Cancer that we have here. It's not there, and he's definitely not aggressive at all. Scorpios are not afraid to do what they need to do to get ahead. He's not that type of person. He has more innocence. So it leads us to the air signs, and that leads us to the earth signs. So when we look at Capricorn, Capricorn is a great example of someone who's obsessed with morality, obsessed with, is hardworking, is loyal, and likes to be responsible. However, Capricorns like to lead, and he is a follower. So do not think that he's a Capricorn. Now, Virgo, he is not put together at all, not analytical. Again, you can't be Virgo and naive. So that rules it out. That does leave us with Taurus. Great argument for him being a Taurus. Extremely loyal. That naivete and that innocence, that's what happens to Tauruses before they become jaded. However, we also have to keep in mind that Taurus is extremely stubborn. Do we see Ollie being stubborn at all? Not really. In fact, he's willing to do anything. And we also see him as someone that's willing to attach himself to other people. So that goes, so we're like, okay, maybe we can see Taurus. Let's go to the air signs. He's definitely not a Gemini because he doesn't speak well, right? So he can't be a Gemini. Sungwoo is a Gemini. They're not alike, right? Aquarius, well, he is likable. Everyone loves him, right? However, Aquarius is quirky and weird. They always have like their weird quirks, and they dress weird, and they speak weird, and they communicate weird. I don't find him to be quirky or different. In fact, he just wants to be the same. He wants to be the same as everyone. So it leaves us with Libra. And I do believe that there is an argument for him to be a Taurus. However, the reason why I lead more towards Libra is because of how obsessed he was with pairing up with other people. And in fact, I believe he was attached to Sungwoo's hip because he's the type of person who attaches, that clingy nature. Him being naive and gullible, that is quintessential Libra energy. Libras want to be liked by literally everyone. They want to connect with other people. They are willing to fall down the rabbit hole. I mean, you can ask every Libra. They've had a Scorpio lead them into a trap before. He is also extremely loyal, which to me, if a Libra attaches themselves to you, they're going to be loyal, almost to the point of becoming you. So I actually find him to be codependent, and I believe that he has a lot of low-functioning Libra traits. He's a great person, someone that I feel like is amazing to look up to, but in the reality of the real world, a character like this is going to get taken advantage of, and I know every Libra has been in a situation where they put their faith in another human being only to be let down and used. And I believe Sungwoo let him down and used him and manipulated him because he is the Libra to his Gemini. I will argue that to the day I die. Y'all can fight in the comments if you want, but I'm telling you right now that he is a Libra. I know y'all gonna be like, he's a Taurus. That motherfucker is a Libra. I said what I said. Now, let's move on. Oh Ilnam 001. So, spoiler alert. I'm letting y'all know now, don't hear nothing about it. Spoiler alert. Obviously, this character is a lot more complex when you watch the last episode. His innocence and naivete is not real. So we're going to go off the twist at the end and who his character is. So obviously we know that he is in charge of this entire thing. So this motherfucker is in charge and a leader. We also know that he lacks empathy, literally zero empathy. He lacks empathy. He enjoys playing games. He loves mind games and he loves playing games. We also know that he is extremely manipulative. So he ends up being our main villain, to be honest with you. So right off the bat, there's no freaking way on any planet that he's a water sign. Okay. Now there could be an argument for him being an earth sign. However, when we're looking at earth signs, right, we're looking at Capricorn. Again, I have a hard time labeling people Capricorn when they don't care about morality. We're talking about a show in which morality kind of doesn't matter. So it's going to be really rare to find a specific Capricorn. Now, on top of that, we're also looking at someone who doesn't care about money. He's bored with money. Money is stupid. He's over it. Not a Taurus. Taurus will just keep getting more money, more money, more money. And Virgo, perhaps, I mean, he is extremely calculated. He helped make this entire thing and he created the game. So we'll leave Virgo to think like maybe he could be a Virgo. And that moves us to the fire signs. Very much a Leo because this motherfucker is dramatic as hell, right? I mean, especially the ending. Talk about dramatic. However, he is sharing the spotlight with a bunch of other people. He does want to be on stage and he wants to perform basically because he wants to play the game instead of just watching. So he wants to be on stage. Good argument for a Leo, for sure. However, again, lack of loyalty, except to Gi-Hun. Why did you connect to Gi-Hun? I believe he connected to Gi-Hun because Gi-Hun reminds him of his son. So we have to kind of look at that as a family dynamic rather than a loyalty. And there's an argument for, does he like him because he reminds him of home or does he like him because he plays games with him? Okay. So let's think about this. So we ruled out the water signs. We ruled out most of the earth signs except for Virgo. We're looking at fire. Leo, maybe. Sagittarius, no. He cares too much. Sagittarius don't care. They're more of an optimistic, happy-go-lucky type of person. No. Aries, I mean, shit. He got himself in mess, and he's definitely had some impulsive behavior. But I think he's more calculated than impulsive with all the games. So I'm going to rule that out and say, if anything, I'd lean more towards Virgo. And that leaves us with the air signs. So he fucking loves to manipulate people, right? However, we're looking at that as low functioning. So all three of those signs could be low functioning. Do I think that he's a Libra? No. He went in there by himself. He was fine doing anything by himself. I don't think he's a Libra. Now, is he a Gemini? I think there is a fantastic argument to label him as a Gemini because when you're looking at him, right, loving to play games. I mean, Geminis love playing games. That's literally all. We love mind games. We love fucking with people. We love fucking with ourselves, crossword puzzles, shit like that, right? However, this man is so poorly spoken that I can't in good faith be like, oh, yeah, you're a Gemini. Now, I get it. He has a brain tumor, so it makes sense to me. But his communication style is horrible. And in fact, I feel like most of his character is lost in communication. Yes, he's smart, but it's not really in a manipulative way. He even says, I gave you a choice. So for me, it's more of a practical. We look at Sung-woo, who spoke his way into the top. We look at Il-nam as someone that made sure he finessed the cards in front of him. So can't, in good faith, call him a Gemini. Now, is he an Aquarius? Here's the thing. Do I find him to be interesting on his own? No. I feel like every Aquarius is an individual and interesting on their own. This guy was so boring and so basic that all he did was lend people money, make money, and was so bored with his life that he joined a game to feel alive. That is no way an Aquarius, which pulls me right back to process of elimination of me feeling like this is our Virgo because he planned the whole game from the start, him and his bored ass friends. He made sure that he got exactly what he was looking for. He made sure that he was where he needed to be, and he played everyone like a fucking fiddle. So for me personally, I think because of the practical nature, he created the games. They were meticulous. He created the entire place meticulously, flawlessly, at everything was right. I mean, down to the last episode when he passes away, it's at the right timing. He has the right specific thing. Everything is too perfect, and everything is played flawlessly to the point where I can't in good conscience name him anything other than Virgo. So by process of elimination, I believe that he's up for debate, and I also believe that his character is not strong enough on its own to scream one sign in particular, but I am comfortable and confident in calling him a Virgo. So Han Mi-Nyeo, who is 212. This character is extremely controversial. I think a lot of her characteristics get lost in translation. She's street smart because she never had a chance to be anything but. So she was never really given a chance to be anything but street smart. She's definitely loud and dramatic. I mean, this character is literally screaming probably 25% of the show minimum, if not 50%. She's also vengeful. But what is her motivator in her vengefulness, right? It's out of spite, love. And we also see her as someone who is charming. So, I feel like this character is pretty obvious. I feel like, for me personally, I feel like her character was obvious from the get-go. It was kind of forced down our throats. She's definitely not smart enough for me to give her any of the air signs. So, definitely ruling those out. Oh my God, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh my God, is it gonna pass? It passed. Oh my God, it's a sign. It's a sign. So I don't feel comfortable in labeling her any of the air signs. Oh, girl, not me having a sneeze that won't come out. It's a sign. So I don't believe her to be smart enough to be any of the air signs. So that goes to the water signs. This girl is so unemotional. She quite literally doesn't care. She says what people want to hear. You don't see her being emotional. She even lies a lot. Like, this girl has a hard time telling the truth. I mean, there's literally an entire scene with her over exaggerating. And I don't believe there's a scene where she's in the beginning where she talks about she has an unnamed baby. I think she made that shit up. I don't believe she has an unnamed baby. There's no fucking way. She's lying, over exaggerating. She's all about herself. She charms her way into everything. She charmed Jang Deok-Su. She charmed the fuck out of him and literally fucks him. Honestly, this character, I felt really bad for this character. So I'm like, damn, she showed her whole titty nipple on screen for nothing. But regardless, she's very loud, always screaming, dramatic. I mean, come on, sis. Like, and the thing is, yes, she's vengeful, but it's because she did it out of spite, because she loved and cared about someone. So for her to have a love interest, for her to be all about love, come on, it's a Leo. I don't see how this character can be anything other than a Leo. She's really dramatic. She's really loud. She's charming as hell, even though she's annoying. She's like a thorn in your side. Let me see here. She is literally falls in love in like 2 seconds and then gets mad and is vengeful and spiteful because of it. Sure, you could say that she's a Scorpio because she's a woman scorned, but I feel like Scorpios are more sly, and she was so in your face about literally everything. She was literally hitting you over the head with stuff in the most dramatic, loud way. There is no freaking way that she is anything other than a Leo. I will literally fight you to the day I die on this. This woman is a Leo. There is no other sign that she could be. I don't care what you say. She is a Leo. I loved her character. Now, Jang Deok-Su, 101. This guy is a bully. Literally the quintessential definition of a goddamn bully. He is a gang member and a bully. So he doesn't give a fuck about anyone but himself. Extremely selfish, aggressive, and dominant. He's also a leader, right? So this character is stupid, though. That's the problem, is he's extremely stupid, right? I mean, he literally goes against his own boss, and it's like, bro, how are you that stupid? So not an air sign, too stupid. He's more of a brute. He's like a brute force, so definitely not looking at an earth sign, and I also do not feel like he is a water sign. He's too aggressive. He has to be a fire sign. So then that leads us with Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo. There is a great argument for him being a Leo, 100%. He ends up being the leader. He ends up, having everyone do everything for him. However, he is extremely cowardice. His entire story arc with Mi-Nyeo is him being a fucking coward. He dies because he's a coward. There is no way that a Leo would ever be a coward. They go down with the ship. They have a sense of responsibility. I cannot label him that Leo because I do not believe he has the sense of responsibility. And I also don't think I spelled aggressive wrong. I just noticed it. That is so freaking embarrassing. I'm leaving it. So can't do that. Sagittarius, this dude is not independent. I mean, are you kidding me? He literally attaches himself to literally everyone all the time. This dude is literally the definition of not independent. Bitch, what? You are, if anything, codependent. You need a posse. You need people. Process of elimination. He's an Aries. I mean, maybe you feel like he's a Leo. I just can't, in good faith, be like, bitch, you don't care about. There's no way. You have no sense of pride. You don't care about pride. You'll change at the drop of a hat. Aries is spontaneous, aggressive, dominant, bold. They like being a leader, but they like being leader from themselves, not for the responsibility aspect of it. They're unpredictable, aggressive. I mean, this dude, an idiot. I mean, you look at the low functioning Aries as more of like a caveman like brain. He just gives me Aries through and through. I feel like he's extremely low functioning. I mean, he's aggressive, dominant. He's blunt. He provokes people. He intimidates people. He's literally a school bully. He's an Aries. I said what I said. He's aggressive. He's also very strong. Aries are strong. They're athletic, period. Okay, Ji-yeong, 240. So we do not see a lot of this character. She is pretty much only in like 1.5 episodes. I think everyone really loves her. I mean, obviously, I think she was given really good material to enjoy. She's like a big kid. So definitely going to label her here. Hold on, let me make sure this works. Okay, so she's a big kid for sure. She's basically the little sis of 067. So she's definitely a big kid. She's also very lost. This girl is completely lost. I mean, she has no idea what she's doing. She doesn't know what she wants. I believe her to be innocent. So I guess I can put big kid / innocent because she does have innocence to her, but it's more so about her not wanting to grow up. She doesn't really have a lot of will to fight for, but I find her to be incredibly happy-go-lucky. Like, this girl is so optimistic, and even when she, spoiler alert, sacrificed herself for Sae-byeok, she is still happy-go-lucky and smiles about it. She's smiling about her death because she's happy. She's like, we'll play again one day, and then dies. And I find her to be extremely happy-go-lucky and optimistic, even in the face of death. And I also find her to sort of be extremely charming. For her, we also have to keep in mind, she is independent as hell. I mean, this girl didn't care. Remember, Sae-byeok goes up to her. She doesn't go up to Sae-byeok. To 067. She doesn't go up to her. And she's minding her business. She doesn't care. She's on her own, doing her own thing. And she's gotten through the whole thing by herself. And she's also honest. I find her to be really honest, and she's inquisitive. So for me, there's only one sign that I feel like relates to her. And there's only one thing that I can honestly say. I believe her to be the Sagittarius. Sure, you can make an argument for her being a Pisces, but I just feel like there wasn't enough emotional depth to her character. And perhaps that's more so with how long we saw her character. But we can kind of see her be like, I don't really have family anymore. Like, there's nothing there. And because she's kind of just like so happy and smiley and she's independent, I just feel like a Pisces would rely more on other people. I believe her to be our Sagittarius. I definitely really like this character. I feel like if you're a Sagittarius, you could probably see yourself in her because of her. There's a famous saying by Britney Spears where she says, and for the record, she literally says, I choose to be happy. Happiness is a choice, and every day I wake up and choose to be happy. And I feel like that's a great phrase for this particular character because she chose to be happy in the face of death. And she just wanted to be herself. And independent and do her own thing. So love this character. Okay. Now we're moving on to Hwang Jun-Ho, who is the absolute sexiest human being on the fucking planet. This is the cop, y'all. The way I literally couldn't breathe when this character was on my screen, when he took his shirt off, I rewound it like 6 times. When he had the scene with the VIPs, which, by the way, that scene is so visually stunning. I have a mask fetish, so like him in a mask was doing things for me, and like the whole imagery is so beautiful. The show is like got such beautiful imagery. I was so turned on by this man. Like, y'all don't understand. I would marry this man in a heartbeat. Like, bitch, looking like. Oh my God, I just can't. He's so hot. Literally could not focus. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care what the fuck his storyline is. I don't know what the hell his storyline was. I don't care if it made sense or it didn't. I was not paying attention. I know he was looking for his brother, but he just remained sexy while doing so. And that's literally all I cared about. So I think I understood most of it. I mean, he is a cop, right? So he is very much like rule oriented, right? So he's like cop, rule what's the word? Follows rules. So he's a cop. He follows all the rules. He's very much like obsessed with morality. He is very athletic. I mean, he's definitely like, he does the most. He's also hot as fuck when he takes his shirt off. So I guess you could technically say he's a Leo, but that's probably more me being enamored by him rather than his actual character. But I don't know what you want. I mean, you get someone this hot. What am I supposed to think? Not me being jealous of the motherfucking VIP in the scene. You know what I'm talking about? Ooh, not me imagining myself in that position. Ooh, but regardless, I find his character to be family-oriented because he's obsessed with his brother. However, is he obsessed with his brother to the point of wanting to save him, or is he also curious? So I feel like he's also curious. He has a lot of curiosity, and curiosity definitely kills the cat, honey. Now, I will say I do not believe that this character is motherfucking dead because we didn't see no body, and bitch, if he didn't see no body, they ain't dead. So, and if his brother lived, then bitch, so did he, because they both got shot in the same place. So, very curious. I think this character is obvious. I mean, you could make an argument for him being a Taurus because he's super loyal, but I didn't particularly find him to be convincing in that aspect to me. I didn't find him to be consistent. If anything, I found him to be not consistent. I mean, he did stuff on his own. He did whatever he wanted to do. He definitely doesn't want to hurt people. He's obsessed with morality. Yes, he's family oriented, but he feels more of a responsibility. He's responsibility based. He feels responsible. Responsible, it's the truth, for his brother. And I believe his curiosity leads to his death, which also ties in with him wanting people to follow rules. I believe him to be a Capricorn. Like I said before, you might be able to find a different sort of judgment here with this character. I mean, I'm open to interpretation here, especially considering maybe I missed some nuance with this character because I was so enamored by how fucking sexy he is. Just being honest, bitch. I got a Venus and Leo. I can't help it. But I do believe him to be a Capricorn. He's the only one with a conscience. And I believe that his family-oriented nature is more of like a dad or a brother. Like, I don't know if he's the older brother or not, but there was like a responsibility. So it makes me feel like a dad or a father figure or like an older brother type of archetype. Or at least wanting to be responsible. So I believe him to be a Capricorn. I feel like he's an obvious choice for Capricorn. If you have another classification, please let me know. I'd love to hear it. Now the front man. Now we know who the front man ends up being. Spoiler alert, is this motherfucking dude's brother. I felt like that was obvious. This is where the show kind of was like, yeah, no duh, I knew that was coming. Again, when I watch shows, I never know if it's like, oh, I'm psychic so I can figure it out, or if it's just that obvious with the writing. So this one, you tell me if you figured it out or not, because I thought it was obvious from literally like episode 4, if not earlier. I was like, that's the only thing that's going to make sense, because he just had too much camera time. So the front man follows orders. He does what he's told. He literally falls in line. He is a minion, basically. He's a leader, but he's a leader over the other minions. So I believe him to be a minion. We do not know a lot about this character, so he's mysterious. Extremely mysterious. I also find him to be extremely cold. I mean, he shot his own brother. So right off the bat, can he be a water sign? The only water sign you can make an argument for is Scorpio, because he was kind of vengeful to his brother when his brother tried to screw him over. However, does he have enough depth to him in order for me to be comfortable naming him Scorpio? No. That has to do with his character being extremely mysterious and extremely cold. I believe that a Scorpio probably would have shown a little bit more. I think a Scorpio would have showed less mercy. There was a lot of mercy shown, especially in the way that he was communicating to other people. And I also don't believe a Scorpio would follow orders as much as they do. So I don't really feel like he's that. In terms of fire signs, no, he's the leader. So he's not the one doing everything. In fact, I don't particularly find him to be aggressive, more calculated. So I don't really vibe with that. In terms of earth sign, I think there's an argument for him being a Capricorn for sure, because he's doing his duty. However, I believe the fact that he's super mysterious, most Capricorns aren't mysterious. They just don't have depth. And I'm not saying that to be rude. I'm just saying Capricorns are more so about what is right and what they want to do. They're more upfront about it. They're not really known for being mysterious. In fact, you probably already know what a Capricorn is going to do before they do it. They're pretty predictable, as are most earth signs. So I can't in good faith give him that. So I think by process of elimination, I narrowed down to an air sign. So like, what air sign do I think he would be? Well, there's a great argument for him being a Libra because he's literally a minion and he follows orders. But Libras are more likable. They're not super cold and they definitely aren't mysterious. In fact, Libras will probably tell you everything about them before you even ask. They tend to overshare. So don't think he's a Libra. Gemini. Sure, I can see him being mysterious and cold, but his speech pattern and the fact that he speaks in short sentences, I just don't feel like I'm not confident in that. He doesn't know how to communicate with people in a way. I mean, there's even miscommunications with him in the VIPs. I do not believe him to be have the gift of gab. In fact, most Geminis are chatterboxes and he's extremely quiet. So I think by process of elimination, he has to be our Aquarius here. Aquariuses are known for being cold because they're fucking weird. They're also known for being mysterious because they're fucking weird. They're individualistic. We do not know a lot about him, but Aquarius is the sign of friendship. And so they do connect with other people and they are always part of groups and organizations as what they rule. And he is literally a part of a giant organization and a group. And the reason he's following orders is because he believes in the group mentality. So until we get more information about this particular character, which I'm hoping we'll get in a prequel or a part 2, I have to give him the Aquarian sign of approval here. Perhaps you can maybe make an argument for the other one, but I just feel like he is our Aquarius, just because he's a part of a giant group of people and he's mysterious and quirky. So I believe by pretty much process of elimination, he has to be. So let's jump over here to the doctor. So I'm going to go to the recruiter last. So, because I almost forgot this and I'm doing this live on Twitch, so they told me that I forgot him. So Byeong-Gi, the doctor, 111. This character is fucking weird as hell. Okay. He is simultaneously important while also being massively unimportant. He is a weird character. So he's obviously extremely intelligent. I mean, he's a doctor, right? So he definitely is not really, he's not strong, so he can't be a fire sign. He literally has to get inside information in order to join the strong group, and he does it with his knowledge. So he's definitely not a fire sign. Now, in terms of earth signs, I don't particularly see him as money motivated because he was in a lot of debt, and I don't see him as stubborn because he's willing to do whatever it takes to get where he needs to go. So not really seeing that. He's also not loyal. He's all over the place. He also is very meticulous in the decisions that he makes. So could make an argument for Virgo 100%. In fact, I think like him and 001, they have a lot in common, right? They're both manipulative and they're both willing to do what it takes to get ahead. However, because I feel like he is not in charge, it's very hard for me to just be like, oh, Virgo 100%. So we'll table that and go back to it. Gives us the air signs. Now, Gemini, this dude is convincing. He definitely convinces Jang Deok-Su to be on his team. He has the gift of gab and is like, I'll tell you what you need to know, get me on your team. That's true. Geminis are often intelligent. They're really good at studying. So I can see a Gemini becoming a doctor. However, the problem I have with this is that I don't find him to be likable. In fact, I find him to be extremely fucking weird and all over the place. We also see him as not really, like, he doesn't really talk a lot unless he needs to. Again, a Gemini is not shutting up. You could probably make a better argument that Mi-Nyeo 212 is a Gemini more than he is because she won't shut the fuck up. And he's just a little bit too much of a non-factor for me to be like, okay, he's a Gemini, but we'll table that. And then we have Aquarius, right? Okay, he has a lot in common with the front man, right? He's definitely weird. He's all over the place. He's following orders. I mean, he's doing what he's told, right? Doing what he's told, right? But is that because he wants to, or is that because he's forced to, right? This character is definitely one that I feel like could be a lot of different signs. I believe you could make an argument for him being a Gemini. I particularly don't feel comfortable just because I feel like he doesn't communicate well enough. He needed outside sources to bring them in. You could make an argument for him being a Virgo because he is very well put together. A lot of Virgos go into medicine. They become doctors. He's very meticulous. He's good with his hands. He's calculated. However, what really puts it over the edge for me in terms of what I feel like he is if we look at Aquariuses, they're kind of all over the place and they're more so about like wanting to experience. I do not believe him to be experienced. I believe him to be someone who doesn't like the fact that he's in the position he's in. And if we look at the way his character dies, he dies because he challenges the authority. He cannot stand to be told what to do. And I believe that he can't stand not being in control, because the reason he dies is because he freaks out because he doesn't have pre-existing knowledge. And they tell him, we'll tell you what the game is before the game starts, but right now we can't do that. He lost control, and when he lost control, he freaked out. That is why, for me, this character also has to be a Virgo, because his obsession with control. He's absolutely obsessed with control. I'll even write that down. I believe control and lack thereof was control obsessed. I believe that was his character's downfall. So that is really where I kind of teetered over the line into Virgo, because Virgos hate losing control. They hate not being in control. And I believe that was ultimately the reason for his demise. So I am giving him Virgo. Now that brings us to the recruiter. If the recruiter is single, let me know, bitch. First of all, the cop and the recruiter could fucking tag team me, bitch. I would let the recruiter, let me tell you something. I would let him beat it up. Bitch, I would have paid him money to slap me. I would have literally paid him money to slap me. I'm like, bitch, hit me again. Bitch, when he got on that motherfucking train to Busan, bitch, I wanted you to get on the train to my Busse. Okay? Like, you don't understand. Like, that man is... I could not choose between the recruiter and the cop. Bitch, I wanted both of them at the same fucking time. Bitch, I would have went with the recruiter and let the motherfucking cop watch, and the cop could have took over and then told him how to do it right. Bitch, I wanted both of those at the same time. I could not focus, bitch. Only reason he's even on here is because he's too sexy to not be on here. Are you kidding me? Bitch, I'm literally putting that. Sexy as hell. Bitch, that's your character. We didn't really get much, but he's sexy as hell, so he's on there. Okay? But I will say, he definitely, I mean, let's be honest. He follows the rules. He's a rule enforcer, technically. Okay? He's definitely mysterious. We know nothing about him. He's motherfucking mysterious. We know zero about him. But let me tell you something. Smiles when hitting people. This dude loves pain. He loves pleasure. This motherfucker is a freak, bitch, freaky. He's freaky as hell. This motherfucker is a hoe. Like, he's freaky as hell. He's getting off on smacking people. Bitch, I was so turned on. I don't even like being hit. That's not even my kink, but bitch, I would let it be my kink for him. Oh, this character is so hot. I literally could not choose between him and the cop. Like, I would beg for both of them. I think they're the yin to their motherfucking yang, ho. Like, ooh. Now, I will say... there is one line that Il-nam says. So obviously he's the recruiter, so he works for Il-nam, right? So they have to know each other. There's one line that Il-nam says that he talks about, like, how he used to have to hit his son a lot. His son would get slapped a lot. So I'm like, is the recruiter your son? Because I'm trying to find out what he gonna look like when he older. I'm just trying to find. Let me find out that's your daddy, because this recruiter fine as hell. And so I'm like, is that your son? Are you recruiting for your daddy? Because, bitch, you can recruit my pussy all day long. Like, oh, my God. It might be. But either way, sexy as hell. I'm going to just keep it real with you. The fact that he's dark, mysterious, you know, he enforces the rules and he loves punishing people because he smiles when he's hitting people and he's freaky. Bitch, this is our Scorpio. No, baby, this is a Scorpio. Don't tell me this ain't anything other than a Scorpio, bitch. Like, every Scorpio in here is like, bitch, I love getting hit or hitting people. I already know. Like, y'all are freaky as hell, bitch. Scorpio, they love their ropes and shit. No. This is our Scorpio. He loved hitting people too much to be anything other than... And he also has that sense of responsibility. He likes being in charge, but he's also manipulative. He knows what he's getting these people into. He's sly and manipulative. He's getting these people into their death, and he don't care. So for me, it's given Scorpio. It's given sexy as hell. It's given mysterious. I wish that he would put on a mask. Him and the motherfucking cop would put on a mask and have at it. So that's what I think of these characters. So Gi-Yeong, I believe, is our Pisces. Sung-woo is our Gemini. Sae-byeok is our Cancer, Ollie is our Libra, Ilnam is our Virgo, Han-Nyeo is our Leo, Jang Deok-Su is our Aries, Ji-yeong is our Sagittarius, Hwang Jun-Ho is our Capricorn, the frontman is our Aquarius, the recruiter is our Scorpio, and I believe Byeong-Gi, aka the Doctor, has to also be our Virgo. So there are 2 Virgos here, and I believe that he would probably be him at some point if he evolved. So that's what I see for Squid Game. Let me know what you guys thought of this. Make sure you follow me, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Antphrodite. There's a link to my people down below. If you love this, argue in the comments. I want to know what you think. I know this video is long, but bitch, this was fun. And if you want me to do other shows, let me know. Until next time, bye.